Yeah, hello everyone and welcome back. So last we discussed how to share the data from the Angular components. So last we discussed about how to share the data between the parent component to a child component using @input decorator, and we have seen this through the example. So today we are going to discuss about @output operator and how to transfer data from child to a parent component. So in this, when we want to transfer the data or exchange the data from the child component of Angular to a parent component, then there is a way by using @output decorator and also by using the event emitter. So basically @output is a component decorator that becomes the output of the parent component. So basically in the parent component we define @output decorator, and event emitter is something that can be propagate the event from the child component to the parent component. So basically event emitter will emit the event produced by, and then the child has to, and then the parent has to receive that, right? So basically here we are going to send the data from child to parent. So from child the data will get emit and the parent is going to receive it. So in the parent, we will create a function to receive the message and set it equal to the message variable. Basically, we'll create a method, and from that method click from the child component, we will try to emit the event, and that event will send a message which we want to pass, and then the parent component will try to receive it, and then we will store that received data to a variable. So in a child, we declare a message event variable with the output decorator and set it equals to a new event emitter. Okay. Yeah. So this is the main steps we have to do. So don't worry, I will show you with an example how to transfer data from child component to a parent component using output and the event emitter. So see, basically how to understand that where we have to use input, where we have to use output. So here you can see that always the parent will be in the top and the child will be down. Okay, so let assume and let uh, assume that the parent component always be in the top of the child component, and now we need to transfer data from child to parent. So it means the arrow will be kind of upward, right? Arrow will be from down to up. So when down to up means it is going into outside, it is going to the output stream, right? So the arrow is showing outside, that's why we have to use @output. And if we have to transfer from parent to child, it means the arrow will go downward in. So there we have to use input. So here we have to transfer child to parent, it means from down to top. So arrow will be go like this. So arrow head will be in upper side, so it means out. So that's why you can remember that we have to use @output decorator, and also when we are using output, then we have to use event emitter, right? So let's see an example and let's understand how we can implement this uh, output and the event emitter for sending data from uh, child to parent. So yeah, so like already I have shown you in the last lecture about how to transfer data from parent to child by using @input. So if you have not seen that lecture, then I will suggest you to go and check that out. So for today, we will see from data transfer from child to parent. Okay. So this is my child component already I have created. Okay. And this is my parent component, right? So inside parent, I have just added the selector of the child. Okay. So this is my parent component. Inside parent component.html, I have added the selector of the child component, right? We need to transfer from child to parent. So when we transfer from child to parent, then the output decorator will be defined inside a child component. Okay, so this you have to remember. If we are transferring from child to parent, then inside child component we have to define @output decorator. So let's move to the child ts file, and here we can declare @output decorator. All right, and then let's say data event I want to pass, and this will be of let yes, here we have to create the object of the event emitter. So basically event emitter is in class which is basically going to emit the event. All right, so we have create an data event of type event emitter, and here we have declared with output decorator. So you have to import this. So let me quickly import. All right, yeah. So this is the full syntax at the rate output and the bracket open bracket close. So this is the output decorator we have to define inside our child class. Okay, now let's move to the html. So what we will try to do, we will try to call an event with a method call. Okay, so let me create one div. Inside div, let's create one input. Okay, so input type will be of text. Okay, I want to create a text box, and this text box I have to means yeah, so this is the text box, and in this text box I am going to enter the value. Okay, so let's keep the placeholder as enter value. All right, and next I am going to create one button, and in this button I am going to put a click event. So let's add a click event, and with this click event we want to call one method. Let's say name of the method is send data. All right, so this is the data, and let give the name text inside that button. Let's say send to parent component. So this is basically a button with the name send to parent component, and this is the click event I have added, and we have added one send data. Okay, so let's create this send data method inside our child component.ts file. All right, so this is the send data method I have created, and I want that this dot data event, okay, should emit. So we, yeah, so as I already told you that we have to emit the data from the child, so that the data will get emitted and the parent has to receive it. So for emitting we can use a method called emit. Okay, so my data event is of type event emitter, and in the event emitter class we have a emit method which basically emits, which basically throws the data, right? And in this which data we have to throw, that we can create. So we can create a child data. Okay, let's say we have already one variable with the child data, so let's use this. And here input decorator I have used for the previous lectures. Let's remove this. So this is a child data string which I want to emit, okay, with this method emit method. And also so to get the data from the html input text, let's use uh, yeah, so let's use two-way binding. Okay, so here let's use two-way binding with the ng model. So with the ng model I am going to do a two-way binding of this variable child data. So basically whatever we will enter in this input text box, that is going to store directly to this ts file here. Okay, and when we will click the button after filling this input text, then it will going to call this method send data from inside a child ts file here, and then this is going to emit this data, this dot child data. So from child component this data is going to emit by a button click. Now we need to receive this data inside our parent component, as I told you, right? So for that what you need to do, inside parent.html here, okay, so here you need to basically define the data event. Okay, so this is the data event variable. Okay, so let's first create data event variable inside Yeah, so this event, the data event variable is in the child class, and here we will call one method, let's say received data method. All right, so this received method data with an event. So event, for that we have to dollar event. All right, so this method we have to define inside ts file of parent component. So let me define this. Okay, I hope you understand this. So we are simply defining one method, and this event will be stored in this data, and data is of, let's say, any type. So now data will contain, so data will store, so whatever we are sending from the child, right? So let's say we have to use one variable, let's say receive data. Okay, so I will use receive data to store this data. So let's create, or let's define this variable declare property here. So I have declare receive data, and this data will get stored into this receive data variable. All right, so to check this, let put one console.log received value from parent component is, and this dot receive data. All right, so simply I am calling one receive data, and in this what we are doing, we are calling storing the data which is transferred into the receive data variable, and this I have put as a console. Now I want to also display this receive data which we have received from the child component to our parent component HTML. So for that we can use interpolation. Okay, so let's use interpolation here, and let's show this data. So let me use a paragraph for this. Yes, so yeah, so what I have done, if you see in the child component, from where you have to send the data, you have to create an output decorator. And then so this output decorator variable should be of event emitter type. So event emitter is a class which is coming from Angular core. This basically used for emitting the data. Okay, so this has one method emit. So this dot event data event dot emit method, which will emit child data, and child data we are entering in an input text box, and then we are clicking a send button, and with this send button it is going to emit. And so so the parent component is going to receive this, right? So this is a data event. So whenever there will be change in the data event, if then it will receive, basically with a method, this event will get stored here, and then in the ts file we are creating this method and then taking this event, and this will store into the receive data variable, one new variable, and then this variable we can use it in our further logic, or you can simply display in the html using interpolation. Okay, so this is required for sending the data from child to parent. Now yeah, so now let's go to our chrome, and let's see how to do this. Yeah, so this is one like input box which I have created in a child component, and this is a send button. So let me enter something. So this text I want to send from child component to a parent component. So let me hit a button. So you see, when I click this button, it came here, and this value is coming to the parent component html, right? Here we are defining. Okay, here we are defining, let's say, parent component. Let me write for you so that you will understand. Yeah, so this is the parent component html, right? And here we are received data. So let me put, yeah, you see it came. Now let's put assist and then hit a send button. You see this is displaying. It means from child component we are able to send the data to the parent component by using output decorator, and also by the use of event emitter. Yeah, so this is the thing you have to implement in this manner. By this way you will able to receive the data in the parent component, right? So next lecture we are going to discuss about how to send the data via a service class, right? So this is the third way. Okay, so that will be the third way in which there will be no relationship between the two component, but we will try to see how we can share the data from these two component via service class. Okay, yeah, so thank you and have a nice day.